Welcome in to the latest episode of the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, real_Chi Warner. On tonight's episode, we will be going through the UEFA Champions League just Tuesday, April 14th edition, as I have not yet caught up on the Tuesday, April 7th. Because there's a lot of baseball going on, a lot of other things as well. And, let's find some winners in this episode. We're 3-0, our last three best bets in Champions League going back across. Atletico Madrid plus 1.25 goals on the last episode, which we did record both at the same time. But then before that, we had Real Madrid in the first leg against Manchester City. And before that, I guess in between that, we had Bayer Leverkusen and Arsenal under 3 goals. So that's what we got for this episode. Let's get on there. We'll start to talk Tuesday. I'll go through each of the matches, the results in the first leg, what we expect on strategies, and then, of course, the two advanced numbers, how those have changed. Plus, let's find some bets on the next, 14 hours from now, the next second leg of the quarterfinals. So, if you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out. Patreon.com/real_G1. Best spot to get all my plays, leans, write-ups across all sports, especially with baseball. What I'm expecting to be a big hockey season. I've been spending more time looking into that than previous years, and also really loved the underdog strategy last year. It didn't work out as well as I'd hoped, but I feel really good about it starting this season. Also, if you're looking for baseball stuff, of course, the long season. We had a really poor start last year and ended up having a great run to finish the year. Might be looking for that. Just hoping to win the whole time this year, and we'll see if we can make that happen. If you're following the podcast, please do so at your leisure. I appreciate it. Betting the Pitch Apple Podcast and on Spotify, at the real_G Warner on YouTube and on Instagram, especially if you want a reel or a short, which summarizes the best bet from this episode. So let's go right into it. We'll start in the first matchup on the list, and that's Atletico Madrid hosting Barcelona in an all La Liga tie. Unfortunately, hate when this happens, especially when they played literally in the Copa del Rey and also in Spanish La Liga just this past weekend. So these teams have seen a ton of each other, and that's a big reason why. Besides, I think just in general, I feel like Atletico Madrid are not that far behind Barcelona versus how the market expects them to be. But I think especially for how much they've played each other the last couple of seasons, this is a great opportunity for Atleti. That's why I played 1.25 as my best bet on the first episode of last week on the quarterfinals, knockout stages. Also played to advance on Atletico Madrid, which feels great right now. But we've got a long way to go. And unfortunately, Barcelona will have 11 players in the pitch this time, at least to start. So Pau Cubarsí, great young defender, really changed the match. I mean, completely, especially with what happened afterwards. But got called for a yellow card on a breakaway. Essentially, he was the last man, so that was upgraded to a denial of goal scoring opportunity. And then Julian Alvarez netted the free kick. Might have been deflected by Robert Lewandowski. Might have not jumped enough. Might be 35 and getting older, though I certainly know how that feels. But ultimately, Robert Lewandowski stole a match in La Liga, which looks like Barcelona is going to pull out and win that one, if I had to guess. So maybe it's just can't be perfect all the time, Louis. But at this point, that then when 1-0 up with an extra man, and then end up getting another goal on kind of a quick break from a great cross from Ruggieri to Alexander Sorloth, who's an awesome goal scorer. Will be great in Norway. Probably want to look at some of his props this season, though. Unfortunately, he plays and he can play wing, honestly, to set up Erling Haaland, but we'll be doing a ton of World Cup stuff coming up on the Betting Pitch podcast. That's why you should hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. It's called Betting the Pitch, or on YouTube at the real_G Warner to get all the data, all of the podcasts, get beautiful looks on my mug, which probably aren't in the same sentence too often, but I'll be worth it, hopefully, and we're gonna have a great summer. I can tell you that. So, I guess it's time to get into numbers. So, Atletico Madrid, they're ahead 2-0 in aggregate. I like betting teams that are at home for the second leg. That's part of why I played Atleti, thinking they could get a draw. 2-0 was awesome. We've seen the two advanced number change 213% from Barcelona minus 286 at open to plus 252. Atleti have moved from plus 235 to minus 310. So right now, if you want to bet Atletico Madrid to advance, you're paying $310 to win 100. On the Barcelona side, you're paying 100 to win 252. So that's pretty significant. It shows how a 2-0 lead matters, especially at home in the Wanda Metropolitano or the Riyadh Air Metropolitano, whatever they call it now. I went to a match there against Liverpool a couple seasons ago. Liverpool were much better than Atleti at that time, and it's still a really tough place to play. I think it was 2-0, 2-0 Liverpool. Atletico Madrid fought back to 2-2 and then lost 3-2 with a red card to Antoine Griezmann for kicking some guy in the face. Um, I don't remember which Liverpool player, but anyway, um, it's going to be a really tough place to play. Atleti know exactly Barcelona's tricks. They had a really great long ball goal scoring in the first matchup between the two, or I guess first in the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, week and a half, basically. I think they're playing 3 times in 11 days, so maybe even 8 days. It was long, not that long ago. But Atleti took a 1-0 lead, then suffered a red card, and unfortunately, things changed a lot, fell behind, and then looked like they were going to escape with a draw, and ended up conceding a late goal from El Pecho de Robert Lewandowski, literally chesting in a deflected shot or a saved shot that was basically parried right to his chest. He twisted, hit it in the goal, and that was 2-1. And Barcelona will probably win La Liga because of it. And Atletico Madrid don't really have much to play for. They played a really lot of backups in that matchup. Played Nico Gonzalez at left wing back, which is clearly not his position. And he got one yellow card for putting his hands in the air and catching a long pass to Lamine Yamal, which was a good yellow card to take, I think, at that point. Probably should have been substituted, and Barca did make some changes, a lot due to injury, I think. But then got a red card, which he should have. To stop a play, it was a yellow card. Initially was welcome to Real Underscore You Warner Late Night, as it's almost, I have to be at my desk in less than 7 hours, so that's going to be awesome. Can't wait for that. But we're doing podcasts because that's what we do on this channel, and we're trying to get as much money in your pockets for Champions League so we can spend even more and increase our units for the World Cup this summer. With all that said, Atletico Madrid are going to grind this match to a halt. At 1-0, they are playing for the final whistle. At 2-0 Barcelona, I think they're still happy with extra time because they're at home. But the problem with that is if you're playing plus 3/4 of a goal underdog right now, Atletico Madrid minus 115, that is a scary number to take. Really anything below +1, which is currently minus 150 on Bet Online, as they are continuing to offer alternates, which I really love. And I please keep doing that. And if you need an account there, hit me up at the Real and Georgie Warner because they have great bonuses. And if you have an account at Bet Online, get one at sportsbetting.ag. And if you have one at sportsbetting.ag, have it at Bet Online. They're literally sister sites and do the same stuff. Openers are there, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I think I'm waiting for Atletico Madrid to hit +1 because I think that push on a single goal loss where they're advancing, celebrating at the end of the match, final whistle, all that sort of stuff. That is a huge, huge deal for Atleti. At +3/4 of a goal, you're losing only half a unit, but it's still a loss, and I don't like losing. And that makes me worried because you essentially need a draw from Atletico Madrid, and this is not by any means a foregone conclusion. Barcelona can certainly win this match, though it doesn't look great considering Atleti have not lost by more than a goal in 2 matches in the east side of Madrid so far this season. Atleti took a 4-0 lead in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semifinal, and then ended up losing 3-0 in the second leg. But they were already 4-0 ahead, and that was fairly easy advance, though got a little bit nervous late, to say the least. But Barcelona needs a huge win here, at least by 2 goals, and I think that's gonna be hard. And that's just to force extra time, where I think Atletico Madrid are probably an underdog there if you're betting it, but I would like them and certainly like my position because I think that's where I'd want to be with a home team in shootouts. Though they did lose, I think, to both Barcelona and Real Madrid in shootouts last season in two-legged ties. So that's not a great history, and you could certainly say that might be nerves involved, but I think we get a really supportive Atleti crowd and honestly, penalties are a coin flip anyway, so I'd rather have the +250 or something like that I have in my pocket. And for that reason, I guess there's might be some value on Barcelona at the current +252, and I might wait to see if that one climbs. So I expect Barca money to come in because I think this will end up closing maybe a very juiced +1, but I think that's more likely than it falling down to plus half of a goal because I think there's going to be plenty of people either trying to make their money back that lost the first leg on Barca or just really want to speculate Atleti don't pull this off, and they've certainly struggled to do that with the two giants in Spain. Though I do love how much they played against Barcelona. I think that helps. The total in this matchup reflects how many goals that everyone thinks they're going to score. Duh. But over under is 3.5, just very heavily to over, might be getting towards 3 3/4 before kickoff. I would expect, as we see a lot of the second legs in these two-legged ties, to be much higher scoring. First legs are like my dream. They're usually great for underdogs and are generally very low scoring, so that fits my underdogs and under strategy. Um, but Atletico Madrid are going to try their best to keep this 0-0 as long as possible. At 1-0, I think they're still defending, and that makes seeing 4 goals in the matchup seem difficult. If Atleti scores, certainly the shackles are off and we might see a million goals. If Barcelona score early, of course, that's a problem, but I think Atletico Madrid are going to be really, really steadfast in their defense. I think they're going to start attackers because they want to at least have the threat for Barcelona, but they're really going to just be pinging, I think, long balls against the high line and seeing if they can get their attackers one on one with the goalkeeper if things work out. And that to me has worked as a great strategy for Atletico Madrid against Barcelona this season, has worked for other teams against Barcelona as well. They just score so many freaking goals. That's why they're going to win La Liga, it seems to me. And also Real Madrid did sack their manager mid-season after bringing him in from Bayer Leverkusen for probably a lot of money. We already went through two advanced numbers. I guess I lean to under here. But that is a scary thing with Barcelona in any sort of event, and they need 3 goals to win, and you're already, well, I guess you still win at 3-0 Barcelona, but on the road that's hard to do. I think Atleti do score. So move to Liverpool and PSG. Liverpool were 2-0 losers at PSG. It's amazing how much money they spent on wingbacks that don't play the system that Liverpool's manager wants to play, and also just like really just not capable players that were from. Yes, I guess Kirkez was from the Premier League, but was playing at Bournemouth. It's a very big step up to Arsenal, and especially for the amount of money spent. Florian Wirtz was going to be great someday, but has had a really rough start to his career in England. And Jeremy Frimpong is not a defender at all. So I'm sad that Liverpool got caught that way, but I've enjoyed making money against them a lot of the season. Well, those things have kind of ended because now they're facing PSG in a 2 goal deficit. But they return home, so it's much easier at Anfield than it would be on the road at the Parc des Princes. But Liverpool, currently to advance, has climbed from plus 161 at open to plus 546. It's an increase of 70.5%, which is actually a decrease in their win expectancy, unfortunately. PSG have climbed from minus 185 to minus 775, an increase of 76% in their win expectancy. So there's not a lot of belief in Liverpool, and there really shouldn't be. Getting throttled literally by Manchester City in the FA Cup, returning from the international break, and then I guess it wasn't as bad on the road at the Parc des Princes. They lost by half as much, so I guess that's much better if you're thinking about it, but still rough. And I don't have a lot of faith in Liverpool. I thought about playing the plus one because it felt like Liverpool were a little bit undervalued, but honestly, they were in such dire straits in that matchup that PSG could have scored 5, 6, could have scored as many as they wanted. But this is still, I guess, technically a game, so we'll see what happens. In terms of the spread in this one, Liverpool, they just everyone knows they need to win by 2 goals to force extra time, 3 goals in that regulation to win in advance, which would be amazing if they kept going in this competition when they've been so bad everywhere else. But we'll see. In terms of the spread, Liverpool are a pick'em, very juiced, or a quarter goal favorite with all the juice on PSG. PSG are celebrating with a single goal loss, so I don't love backing that away from home in a match where they can eliminate Liverpool with a loss. I don't want to require a result. However, it doesn't sound so bad because they're defending European champions, won Coupe de France, won Ligue 1, which pales in comparison to Liverpool's winning the Premier League last season. And of course, everyone in a world that is dominated by the UK money and the UK market, don't expect. I wouldn't expect Liverpool to be cheap here because they're at home. People love backing them. They've been great to a lot of bettors for many years, and they're playing at Anfield. But PSG are for real. They've been playing much better lately. As soon as Ousmane Dembele got healthy, it seems like all the other attackers got much better. He kind of ordered them around to try to be a little bit more focused, and that's probably helpful because everyone's super young at PSG. But they're going to control the ball and likely will do so away from home, which is going to make it very hard for Liverpool to avenge overturn a 2 goal deficit, which probably means there is some value in PSG getting a quarter of a goal. It's just terrifying for me to think about that because I don't like teams celebrating at the final whistle when they're not covering the spread. And that's a very, very likely scenario if PSG are losing by a single goal. Certainly, if they draw, you're making some money, but it's not looking great right now. Minus 125 currently on Bet Online at plus one quarter. For the total, we have 3.5, juiced very heavily to under, over 3.25, juiced very heavily to over. Um, Liverpool need to score goals, and they have not defended well all season. They have to come out and play. They have not been good at that. And that's another reason if you're looking to back the PSG side, yeah, this is probably the only time we're going to get them as an underdog for, well, I guess, till the next round of the Champions League when they're on the road, most likely. I'm not an over player. Longtime Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/real_G Warner, Joe Dollar. He always wants me to get in favorites and overs. It is an allergy for me, but this is not a bad situation for it. I would love a push on three, but that's not coming. That's not nearby. I think at this point, biggest interest probably would be PSG because I'm not backing Liverpool as a favorite. I guess I like him as pick 'em. If that's where that's going to take a move, but if PSG gets bet and the plus one quarter gets eaten alive, I don't know that I want to back Liverpool in that situation, but I do love a scenario where they're losing the tie or are eliminated and they're winning the match, and that pays me. I do like that scenario. So we'll see what happens there. That's probably more likely for me to play than anything because I do love backing home teams in soccer, especially. Anfield is no exception to that rule. But it's not a rule because I bet a lot of underdogs anyway, especially road underdogs and unders if I like the home favorite not to score. But I do think Liverpool will score here. I just worry how many PSG will score. So that gets us through this episode, the Tuesday, April 14th edition of Champions League. We're 3-0 last three. I'm going to give an ultimate best bet out just because, well, we're going to win some money on this. And we want to keep the streak alive. And also, we got set up for Wednesday as well, which I will be catching up on tomorrow. If you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out, patreon.com/real_G Warner. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, bet in the pitch, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, at the Real_G Warner on YouTube and on Instagram, which I will probably have to cut a reel tonight. It's almost 1 o'clock, but let's do it. And for the ultimate best bet, I'm going to go with that Liverpool PSG over 3.5 goals. It's plus money right now. I want to say that that'll get eaten up a little bit and we'll see some over money. And I expect I don't know. I'm not really sure on the side. I'll be watching that. If you're a member of my Patreon, you can certainly see my thoughts throughout the day as I enter leans and write-ups and what you'll eventually see out on Twitter far after the kickoff. But if you're interested in that, join. Check it out. And we'll see if you like it and want to stick around for the World Cup because we'll be doing a lot for that, and I can't wait. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow night with a Wednesday, April 15th edition. It's probably too late for me to do a What I Bet episode, courtesy of pregame.com, but I'll get back on that channel soon. Talk to y'all very, very soon. Have a nice evening.